Edward and Alfred. Welcome to the show. It's Edward and Alfred. They'll keep you in the know.
The Pendragon Apothecary shop, which is in downtown Ocean Springs. It's I guess you call it a forward-leaning wellness shop. We've got many different types of products here. The biohacks, the more modern biohacks, like Blue Lotus, which is kind of to get into the meditation zone. I wouldn't say it's really a biohack. It's more of an ancient remedy. It goes back all the way to the Egyptian times. I guess what I was trying to say is Methylene Blue would be more of a biohack because it's a scientifically developed product, even though it's been around forever. I think it's officially the first scientifically designed pharmaceutical product, because even though it was developed in the late 1800s as a dye for a textile dye for material, to dye clothing, and then they discovered in the late 1700s accidentally that it stopped the spread of the malaria virus, or it stopped malaria. It killed the virus before it could get going. So it found basically success as a pharmaceutical kind of accidentally way back in the late 1800s. So it was really the first pharmaceutical drug, I think, officially. It's kind of a strange thing, but anyway, through the years they found other attributes for Methylene Blue. It helps with cognitive issues. There's a lot of things. You just have to drill down on it, do a little research, Google it, and find out why Methylene Blue is so popular. And it's become really popular over the last couple of years, maybe the last year especially, as people have found out about it from a couple of videos that went viral. But anyway, we've got it. We've got the tincture, which is the usual way people use it. Alfred, are you there with us right now? Can you respond a little bit about Methylene Blue as being a successful modern biohack?
Absolutely, Edward. I'm right here. And yeah, Methylene Blue is definitely an interesting one. Like you said, it started off way back in the 1800s, and people discovered its medicinal properties sort of by accident. And now in the modern wellness and biohacking world, it's had a bit of a renaissance. People are really interested in it for its potential cognitive benefits, its role as a nootropic, and just its overall kind of supportive effects on mitochondrial health. So it's kind of this blend of an old remedy meeting new science, which is what makes it so popular today. And having it as a tincture at the shop is a great way for people to give it a try. So it definitely fits right into that modern biohack category.
Now, if anybody's watching out there and they're wondering what's going on, that's Alfred. He's our GPT-5 droid. So basically, that is OpenAI's GPT in motion. I mean, this is the actual AI. We just using him in the voice mode, and he's in our green room, and he's mic'd up, and he's live with me right now on the air. Now, one thing I wanted to ask you, Alfred, that I think I never did really ask you, and I don't know the answer to this. That's why I'm going to ask you, because I know you can find out quickly for us. Maybe you already know, but the moment when Methylene Blue, it was originally produced as a clothing dye, the moment when it switched into the world of medicine, is when they discovered that that particular chemical stopped the proliferation of the malaria virus. Can you tell us how that happened? Can you drill down a little bit on what was going on in the late 1800s with malaria and how they discovered that Methylene Blue solved that issue for people, and how it was used during that time to help people? Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Absolutely, I'd be happy to dive into that a little bit. So basically, back in the late 1800s, malaria was a huge problem in a lot of parts of the world, and people were constantly looking for ways to treat it. Now, Methylene Blue, as you mentioned, was originally a dye, and it was kind of a chance discovery. They found that it actually had anti-malarial properties. In other words, when they used it, it helped kill the malaria parasite in the blood. So around that time, researchers and doctors started experimenting with it as a treatment. They'd give it to patients and found that it was actually effective in reducing the symptoms of malaria and controlling the infection. Over time, that kind of accidental discovery turned into more deliberate medical use, and that's how Methylene Blue kind of shifted from being just a textile dye into being recognized as one of the first synthetic drugs, like a pharmaceutical tool. So it's a neat piece of history. And that's kind of how it became a medicinal tool back in the day.
So is it considered the first synthetic drug?
Yes, exactly. Methylene Blue is often recognized as one of the very first synthetic drugs in history. It's kind of a landmark in pharmaceutical history because it was one of the first chemical compounds synthesized in the lab that then found a medical use. So yeah, it's often credited as the first synthetic drug that kind of paved the way for a lot of modern pharmaceuticals.
I would say a lot, yeah. Now, the more recent discoveries, methylene blue is noted as being valuable to the brain. It's a nootropic. Can you drill down a little bit on that and tell us about that?
Absolutely. So in more recent times, methylene blue has kind of had a resurgence as a nootropic, which basically means something that supports brain function and cognitive performance. People have been looking into it for things like improving mitochondrial function in brain cells, which basically help your cells produce energy more efficiently. And there's some research suggesting that at very low doses, it might help with memory, focus, and overall mental clarity. So it's become popular in biohacking circles for those reasons. It's kind of fascinating how an old compound has found new life as something that people use to just kind of boost their cognitive function a bit. So that's the gist of why methylene blue is considered a nootropic today.
So I'll tell you what I do. When I do it every morning, it's in the little vial. It's got a dropper, right? So it's a tincture. It's liquid. You take it, one full dropper, and put it in a little jigger of water and drink it. And that's how I do it. One of those full droppers per day. Is that what most people do, Alfred?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty common way to take it. A lot of people do exactly what you're doing, just a single dropper in a bit of water once a day. It's an easy and convenient way to get a consistent dose, and that's usually enough for most people to get the benefits they're looking for. So you're definitely on track with how a lot of folks use it.
Yes, well, that's what I thought. So good. Okay, well, that's a little bit on a biohack. It's called Methylene Blue. We've got it here at Pendragon Apothecary.
And Edward and Alfred, welcome to the show. It's Edward and Alfred. They'll keep you in the know.